In this section we're going to cover conditional statements. So if this, then do that. Conditional statements are a very powerful tool in a programmer's arsenal to enable them to guide the Python interpreter to different parts of an application, depending on the outcome of different actions, such as user input, results of calculations, samples of data being read in, and many other scenarios. We may want to carry out one action if a variable is equal to 1 and carry out another action if the same variable is equal to 2. We can use conditional operators within our conditional statements, which allows this flow of actions to occur. For the following example, we will introduce the Python code file. Following the steps below will enable you to be ready for the example. So if you open up your Documents folder on your computer and create a new folder named Python Tests, then once this has been created, open the folder and create a new text document called If This Then That. As you can see here, we've created a text file called If This Then That. To enable the view of the extension, you would click View, Details, and tick the box File Name Extensions. Now you can see .txt has appeared. If you right-click this file and click Rename, you can now change the extension to the Python file name extension .py. So you should have a file called If This Then That.py. When you click Enter, you will be presented with a prompt with the following message. Click Yes, because you are sure that you do want to change it. So now you can see the Python extension has been added. So for this example, if you open up the file that you just created, if this then that.py, for now you can use a simple notepad editor. There are many different editors available, but for these purposes, Notepad will suffice. So to begin with, if we use x as our first variable and assign it the value 1, y as our second variable and assign the value also 1. Then typing the following, we can do a comparison between x and y. As you can see, the syntax for Python for the if statement is 2 brackets with our operation inside it, and then a colon and a new line with a tab. This tab is important in Python because it's strictly typed language and it results with neat code that is common across for all developers. So on this line, we want to type in the action depending on if x is equal to y. So we're going to print on the screen x is equal to y. So we save this using Control S, and to run the code above, you will now have to open a command prompt window. Once you have a command prompt window open, click in the address bar of your file explorer, as you can see here, and copy the highlighted text. The next step is to open a command line window. To change to this directory, type in the command cd, which literally stands for change directory. Then type a space and right click. Now you can see the path that you previously copied. When you hit enter, you can see the left hand side, you have now navigated into the Python test folder. From here, you can directly run your Python script. To run the Python script within this directory, type in py, then space. Now you can start typing the file name. Once you've typed the first part of the file name, you can use the tab key to cycle through the files within the directory. As you can see, it's automatically populated the resulting file that it has found. Another way to do this is to manually type out the file name. So once we hit enter, you will see that x is equal to y. As a second example, we will now go back to the Python file we produced previously, and we'll add the following lines. An else statement. This tells the interpreter that if x and y are not equal to each other, then the following command should be run. So now when we save this, we can go back to our command prompt. We can run the exact same command as before. You can either type out the command manually, or if you press the up arrow on your keyboard, you will notice that the last command used is presented to you. You can then just hit enter. We will now change the value y to 2. This will trigger Python to run the else statement. So if you go back to your command line interface, you can use the up arrow key on your keyboard to select the last used command, which in our case is py, then our file name. If we run this now, you'll notice that x is not equal to y. That is because we've changed the values and run the same statement, resulting in the other condition running.